Gambia with Tamala, the fi amma mut fanen. Sama mam that I'm a one night, Jamareka war. When you're Papolo, don't bena, can do your moon al dara. Reo me soon you reula, and yepa and the joke. Nunglinyan, Jama sasa soon you reu. Sapante to Japante, moi soon you are. Burialan you, Gelinyan, the summer soon you digante. Yepaman could the dawn of Ben Lolu, laughing mommy by you born. Yepaman could the dawn of Ben and Gerjamu, Gambia.
Jota lima kas bilel tanghal masindal biway bonyi be nga nuyul masa papa way oyal ma aji wax ko mata nena awane ñu magal tobaski ji way genaaw elek noel su passé ba ñu tek ci ñaari semaine sang mari la tam lolu lañ fi xam ben baat lolu lañu am juróom ñaari nit ci ben bool lolu lañu xam arjodo ga tambi nang nuyul masa papa ankira jam bul ma jam jama lañ fi am amut hette amut diine lolu lañ fi bàyyi woon dama ne lolu lañ fi bàyyi woon Gambia.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's been quite a while. Of course, I took a week vacation after what seemed like like eternity, because we were so focused on the Bob Ketter trial, and it was just a bit too much. So really, after that, I thought I definitely needed a break. I needed a vacation. In fact, I was going to take longer, but I could only afford to take a week break. So we're back on now, and we gonna be, as usual, looking at issues that are happening, most especially in the Gambia, and trying to come on this platform, on this program, and just um, do a deep dive, do an in-depth critical analysis of the situation, and try to bring out what, you know, on all accounts, based on our perspective and based on the facts and situations on the ground, just what is the naked truth, what is actually the truth, and what really surrounds, and try to unveil and or unmask, the mystery surrounding whatever it is that we're discussing. So today, we all woke up this morning to, what really was trending was a senior state counsel working at the Ministry of Justice, by the name of Patrick Gomez. We all know Patrick Gomez was the lead counsel in the just ended trial between Bob Ketter and the state. I mean, we saw Patrick Gomez came in, almost at the tail end of the trial, but bringing some semblance of functionality and straightforwardness to the whole, hullabaloo and everything that was really surrounding this very this trial that was of great public importance, and it generated a lot of interest. And so we saw him come in and obviously did his job to what ordinarily, by all accounts, was a very fair and just delivery of whatever he was doing, which was actually representing the state and serving as a state prosecutor in that matter. So, of course, we know that in the final analysis, Bob Ketter was acquitted and discharged. And I just wanted, on that note, I just wanted to say something, because I've got a lot of messages, especially Mama Sally. Mama Sally, this is particularly for you, and just any other person that is worried and have similar questions. And that is, they've seen a lot of writings from people who label themselves as feminist, writing and saying all sorts and making all manner of statements, saying, oh, the trial will still continue, they're not done yet, and all kind of rubbish. But I just wanted to say now, just for the purpose of accuracy, that there is no way in a billion years that Bob Ketter can ever be tried on this issue, on this matter, which we have just concluded, which is that particular victim and the circumstance. Never again. It's done. He's been acquitted and discharged, and there is no way that he will ever be tried for that matter ever again. It's done and dusted. So I just wanted to make that very, very clear. So regardless of who is writing what and writing whatever rubbish and nonsense, I mean, it's best not to give it any not dignified with even a response, or not give it any relevance, and just let them to go ahead and write whatever it is that they want to write. I mean, as long as people have megabytes and they have access to Wi-Fi and they have a keyboard and have a decent phone, they can really go online and write whatever it is that they want to write. I mean, sense or nonsense. I mean, logic or some illogical rubbish. They could write. They could say whatever they want to say. The best answer and the best response is not to give any answer at all, and just to leave them to say and do whatever it is. I've already spoken to Bob, and I've given him advice that if anybody goes online and you see them making reference to your name and calling you certain names which you feel is defamatory to your character, to your person, record it, take a snapshot of it, and take legal action, I mean, against the person. It does not matter if the person resides in the Gambia or outside the Gambia take legal action against the person. They would serve the person. There are other substituted means of service. They would serve the person, and the trial can go on if the person so chooses to come to the Gambia and represent or seek, have legal representative. That's up to them. But you are assured that you can go to court, you can seek redress, and yes, maybe that person is not there, but whatever, even if it's a donkey years that they step foot in the Gambia, you're sure you can enforce whatever judgment it is against them. So don't stress, don't fret, no need to respond. I am not responding. I have no time. I have closed that chapter with regards to the Bob Ketter trial, and I've moved on to other things, more productive things, and let those that wallow in their own self-pity and in their own sadness and ignorance continue to do exactly what it is that they do or choose to do. But let us not dignify them with any response. As far as we're concerned, Bob Ketter has been acquitted and discharged. He was found not guilty. He was cleared of the offense. He's a clean man, and he goes on about his business, and that's end of story, and we move on to the next. So right now, what I'm going to do, just give a summary of what happened. We woke up this morning and we saw on social media what was trending was a senior state counsel by the name of Patrick Gomez was found to be in the premises of one of the Bai sisters, that is the sister of Sainabou Bai. Sainabou Bai is now, she's currently standing trial at the High Court of the Gambia on 2 counts. One is manslaughter and the other one is a negligent act or negligent or rash act causing death of a person. So she's being tried along with her brother, who I think is called Cherno, and another relative who's called Kimberly, who I think is a cousin. So they're being tried at the High Court of the Gambia and they all three of them have been charged with the same charges that I've just mentioned. Now, the sister of Sainabou, a lady by the name of Meta, actually posted a video on her Snapchat. And on this video, the State Counsel Patrick Gomez is seen to be in the premises of this lady called Meta, who's the sister. And in the said video, we could hear Meta saying, thank you to consensus is that she's thanking the State Counsel, the Senior State Counsel Patrick Gomez, for bringing her dinner over to a presence. We saw a spread of a table with grilled fish and other things, and she was saying thank you. And then the video was cut at that particular moment when she was saying thank you. And of course, this has been making the rounds. It has generated mixed feelings among people, among various concerned individuals. We saw the post on WhatsApp Gambia asking what was the State Counsel Patrick Gomez doing in the house of Metambai. Of course, we know that there's an ongoing case. This case has taken public attention, it's basically under public scrutiny. Every single aspect of this trial is being watched, and people are documenting everything. And people are wondering, as a senior state counsel, in fact, another post I saw said that a lawyer that is actually prosecuting Sainabou, how can that person be found in the residence of Sainabou whining and dining? There are posts that suggest that Patrick is actually in a relationship with Meta, and so on and so on. So that is what has been trending. And this video has been making the rounds. It's being posted on social media, on WhatsApp, on TikTok, on Instagram, everywhere. So I decided to look into this issue. And so right now, what we're going to do, we're going to play the video for you. I've done a deep dive. I've looked at the video. I've analyzed every aspect, every segment of the video from 0 seconds to wherever it stopped. I've looked at it in depth. I've looked at every part. So can we please have the video now, that particular video? So I'll play the video and you can watch the video. So we'll repeat the video because the video is it's very short. So we'll repeat it so that you make sense of it, and then I'll go into it.
Hi. Kenny Smaharid Mama is
So it seems we're having some error. The video is not playing. Um, so let's just go back. The video is not playing. We're just seeing pictures now. So if we can go back to the actual video, yes, this is the one. So if you
Kenny
look at this
Smaharid
video,
Mama is
you can see Patrick sat there in yellow at the back, and you can see Meta doing her recording, and of course, you could see from the top that it's
Kenny
Meta by
Smaharid Mama is
2020. That's her TikTok handle on it. So basically, this is the video, and people have been making all sorts and manner of assumptions, which rightly so. I mean, why would a senior state council be found in the house of Saina Mumbai? One, for various reasons. One would say the senior state counsel Patrick Gomez was the lead counsel in the just concluded trial, where again the Mbai family, including the sister that was the alleged victim in that issue, in that matter, was there. Now, so I have looked at the video, and when you look at the video opens with a tray, a bowl, it's like a table, a table spread with grilled fish. So I'm going to ask that we play this video again. I'm going to play this video again, and I want you to take a look at the opening of the video. Maybe we can even pause the video so you could see for yourself. So if you look at this video, you would see it starts with
Hi. Kenny Smaharid Mama is
okay. I am not seeing the start of the video where you see the spread of fish. I don't know if the video has been edited. So I'm just speaking to my technical team now. The start of the video, it is not starting where I want it to start. I want it to start from the very part where it's showing the seafood, the display of seafood. If I can have that, please, where the video is actually showing the display of seafood, not the picture, but the actual video itself, where it starts with the display of seafood. So not the actual picture that we're seeing now. This is a picture for something else. But I want you to take particular attention to the actual video, the TikTok video, where the video is showcasing different species of fish, different types of fish, and then it's showing the part where it's the grill food on the table. So when you then listen to the lady Meta speaking, it seems it would make perfect sense that the lady is thanking Patrick Gomez for actually bringing the grilled fish and things that you see in that start of the video. So Joe, is it possible to get me the video and not this picture? If we can get the video and not this picture that is showing. Yes, so we're just going to try to get the video on so you could see that short recording, because once I start speaking, I want to make reference to it and just make sense of it all. So you saw that. So can you go back to the start where the fish, you saw the grilled fish? Just one more time, please, so you can see that. Can you pause? If you can pause, if you can just put a hold on the video. put a hold on the video there. Just put a hold on it there. Yeah.
Hi.
So this is very clear.
Can
So
you
you could
smile
actually
Mama is
see, you could actually see the tray showing the grilled fish as it is displayed. And then the video cuts. And then you see Meta speaking and saying she's thank you, ahakain suma harit moma isil. And then the video ends. Can you, so if you can bring me back on now. Thank you. So
Hi.
now the first thing
Can
you
you
would
smile
see, the
Mama
first
is
thing, if you look at the video, the first few seconds of the video, you will then begin to realize the video that was posted was a cut and paste job, because the restaurant that it was showing the fish being laid out on a table was definitely not the shop or the saloon of Meta. So you could tell from looking at the video from the start where you saw the display of fish, and then the video now cutting, and then you see the video being joined together, and then Meta begins to speak, and you could see that clandestinely the video maneuvered in such a way that Patrick was now visible as he sat right there waiting. And then, of course, you see the video go on to say, oh, ahakain suma harit moma asil, but then that's where the video stops. So when a person now from the outside begin to look at that video from a holistic point of view, and you're looking at the video from 0 seconds to where it ends, it feels, and this is what I saw initially when I looked at the video, that's what I thought as well. I thought this was her thanking Patrick, the senior state counsel, for bringing a meal to her. But when I looked at it again, I realized she was standing behind in front of a mirror. So while she was recording, you could see a reflect vision that was being reflected as a result of the mirror that was behind her. So in as much as she was trying to showcase something else, the fish appeared, so it was a cut video. So you could tell that the first part of the video was a restaurant, and I know the restaurant very well because this was a restaurant that I regularly visit in the Gambia, and it's called the Nubian restaurant. It's a seafood restaurant. In fact, I know the owner of the restaurant, Haratu, and the person that actually, in the absence of Haratu, that manages the restaurant is Kemu. So the first part of the video, you can see it's a restaurant. It has nothing to do with that actual recording of Meta. But somehow along the line, the video was joined together. So now I'm just showing you, just seeing pictures of the Nubian restaurant. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you different pictures. These are pictures that I took from my gallery, from my folder. I mean, people who know me know I take pictures all the time and I keep a lot of pictures. So I'll just go on to show you different pictures of the restaurant. You could see the red tablecloth. See the red tablecloth on the table. So let's go. You see the red tablecloth. You see the setting of the Nubian restaurant. If you can see that white table with the green background, there's another table with a green tablecloth, and then there's a white tablecloth with a borderline red, just giving it that Nubian look. You can see it now more visible in the screen. So you can see how the first picture, the first image that rolled out in that video was actually of this restaurant, the Nubian restaurant. It had nothing to do with the shop. So now you have seen the restaurant, you've seen the tables, you've seen everything. So we're going to go back and play the video one last time, just for you to make sense of the point of where that video was joined together to make it seem as if Patrick brought dinner into that restaurant for somebody and they were saying thank you to Patrick. So look at it. You see the video? You see how it was cut? You see the video?
Hi.
So whoever did this video
Hi.
was trying to get,
Mama is
so whoever did this video went through great lengths went through great, a lot of energy and resources was put into joining that video together. And most people that saw this video on social media immediately jumped to conclusion and said that, okay, this was Patrick taking dinner for Meta into the saloon or hairdressing saloon of Meta Mbai. But now, after I have closely analyzed this video, and this is why I decided I was going to do this program today, you can see how one was depicting a restaurant, showing meal on the table, and the other was completely radically different. And then you had Patrick in the background sitting. But you could tell that the way and manner that the image was being recorded, it was clandestinely done so that Patrick could only be seen in that camera by virtue of the mirror that was behind. So when this recording was being taken, Patrick Gomez, the state counsel, would never have been aware that somebody is recording him because the camera was facing the other direction. However, you could tell that because of the mirror that was being reflected, because there was a mirror at the back of the person who was doing the recording in this instant. So because of that mirror, you now saw Patrick being reflected in the image. And of course, this was put on social media. And immediately it generated the interest that it was meant to portray. And that is, why would a senior state counsel be found in the home of Metambai? In fact, most of the postings that we saw online have now connected and attributed the state counsel, linked them in the relationship together with Meta, who is the sister of Zainabu. So this is what was the whole intention of that video, to draw a direct linkage where officials of the Ministry of Justice will be tainted, will be blacklisted, and it would show that there was some sort of conflict of interest, either in the just concluded matter or either in the matter that is now before the courts. But if you look at the video, and it happened to me as an individual, and I must confess, before I took a good look at it and critically looked at the video, because for me, and people who know me, those that are close to me, would tell you that I look at things once, and then I sit back, I close my eyes, and I go over them in my head. And then I try to make sense of it, because I have been on the other side. I have been on that part where people come to irrational conclusions or assumptions of things that seem to be, when you look at those things, it would seem like this is it, this is the story. When you look at it, it looks as if this is what is being painted on the face of it. If you don't do a deep dive, you don't do a critical look, take a critical analysis, do a proper post-mortem of whatever situation it is. If you're not careful, you would err, and you would make mistakes, and you would blame people wrongly for things that they know of. So now we have established the fact that the video was actually edited. Now you would ask the question, as I am asking, why would a person go through so much length, to go through great length to edit a video? And give out a message and allude to something that did not happen. Now, you would agree with me that indeed, if Patrick was in a relationship with the individual, if Patrick was in a relationship with this lady, there was no need to go the extra mile to try to edit a video, to add one take to another, cut it, doctor it, and post it on social media. If indeed Patrick had a relationship with this lady, it would have been effortless. There was no need to go through so great lengths to try to add something, to change the perception of the entire populace, of the entire public, to what is not. So we should now begin to ask the question, is there a reason? Is there an objective? Is there a desired outcome that the individual wants to generate? Does this particular individual want to direct the focus of every individual towards a particular direction? Would they have achieved this if we could not sit down, or somebody like me could not look at this video in its entirety and then pinpoint? I mean, I'm getting loads of messages right now, people telling me that it's now that they're going back on the video and looking at it and to see that it was edited. It was edited. It was doctored. The same way we have seen, I mean, now it seems this is not the first time we've seen a doctored video. We saw a doctored video where a syringe seemingly was empty. And before you say Jack Robinson, the same syringe was filled up with blood. How it was extracted, where it was extracted from, we don't know. So this is not the first time we're seeing a doctored video. And the sad part is that these doctored videos we are seeing, these doctored images, these edited images, is only coming from one direction. They're all coming from the same source, from the same click, the same corner. That's where it's coming from. And the eventual desired rationale for having such doctored, edited things on social media, trending in the news, making headlines, is to streamline the thought process, is to confine our thought process, our thinking, in only one particular direction. And that is why we have to be very, very careful when we look at things and make judgments. Now, let's move on. We have already established that the video was edited and doctored, so there was no way that Patrick took a meal to Metamby's house. That is already done and dusted. We're cleared. We're going to move to point two, which is, what was a state council doing in Metamby's house? We're going to play. I've been doing my research since morning, and you know me, when I want to get into things, I go into in-depth. I go to the bottom of it to make sure we get the truth and nothing but the truth. So can we roll the recording, please? The response to me, a recording by Aisha. And I'd like you to listen to this recording.
Hi, Melvin. I just got your message and I want to make this clear. Patrick does not know Metamby. I called Patrick asking him for a ride. So because it was raining. The time Patrick come, it was raining. I asked him to come in. So the time he came, Patrick don't even spend 5 minutes in the shop. Patrick don't even spoke to Meta. Patrick don't know Meta. Patrick don't even know that's the Mbai's compound. That's all what happened. Patrick don't know Meta and he don't talk to Meta. He don't even spoke to her. Hi, Melvin. I just got your message and I want to make this clear. Patrick does not know Metamby. I called Patrick asking him for a ride. So because it was raining. The time Patrick come, it was raining. I asked him to come in. So the time he came, Patrick don't even spend 5 minutes in the shop. Patrick don't even spoke to Meta. Patrick don't know Meta. Patrick don't even know that's the Mbai's compound. That's all what happened. Patrick don't know Meta and he don't talk to Meta. He don't even spoke to her.
One last time, please.
Hi, Melvin. I just got your message and I want to make this clear. Patrick does not know Metamby. I called Patrick asking him for a ride. So because it was raining. The time Patrick come, it was raining. I asked him to come in. So the time he came, Patrick don't even spend 5 minutes in the shop. Patrick don't even spoke to Meta. Patrick don't know Meta. Patrick don't even know that's the Mbai's compound. That's all what happened. Patrick don't know Meta and he don't talk to Meta. He don't even spoke to her.
Now, so the actual scenario that happened was that Patrick was around the area Coincidentally, Patrick knows somebody who Patrick was speaking to that called Patrick and said, Patrick, can you please give me a ride because it's raining? So this man, the state council, decided, which is normal. And you see, I want us to understand these are normal things that I would do, you would do, anybody would do. So of course, Patrick was like, okay, sure. Tell me, where do I meet you? Now, not knowing this particular person was actually in Metambai's house, that is Senabu's house. But of course, this state council does not know, Patrick does not know who Metambai is. He was, he did not know the house, did not know anything. So he came. So when he came, he was like, oh, can you come in because it's raining? And she went and Patrick decided to go inside. Now, when Patrick went inside, a brilliant opportunity came. So for me, I'm sitting down and I'm thinking, as I'm dissecting this thing, I've been thinking the whole day, are we dealing with one of the smartest people in Gambia? Or is it just a coincidence? A coincidence. And when I try to lean towards the part that it's a coincidence, I can't convince myself that it is a coincidence, because it was such an opportunity. And because when you listen to the audio, the lady is saying that Patrick did not even sit 5 minutes. The lady is saying Patrick did not even stay for 5 minutes. The lady is saying Patrick does not know Metambai. Patrick has never ever spoken to Metambai. And in fact, I was like, are you sure? The lady was like, you know what? Speak to Metambai herself. Confirm if she knows Patrick. And indeed, when I did my research on my confirmation, she does not know Patrick from Adam. She has seen Patrick in the Bob Ketter trial, obviously. He was the state counsel, the lead counsel in that matter. So a brilliant opportunity came. The state counsel is in my premises. I have to make people know. I have to let the public know that this man is in my premises. Now, when you look at that video, I'm going to refer you back to the video. The video was not completed. It says, mange suma nitki moma isil. That's where it stops. But the actual video is saying, suma nitki moma isil ye I nyeti customers. That's the full length of the video. So the TikTok that Meta did, Meta was actually saying, suma nitki dafma isil nyeti customers. Is that how? I don't know if I'm saying it right. My well off. Okay. But to that effect. But the way the video was doctored, so of course, when Meta was recording this video, there were people there. So Patrick was there. So Meta could not have recorded and say, oh, suma nitki Patrick dafma isil dinner, because Patrick did not isil had dinner. And there was no dinner there because the video was edited. And of course, there were other people in the shop. So she could not have said those words, Patrick dafma isil dinner. So all she could say is suma nitki dafma isil. But what she proceeded to say was suma nitki dafma isil I customers. This is the entirety of the video, which I've laid my hands on. But what was posted on social media to get the people going, to ginger Gambians, to put Gambians in a state of utter confusion, to put Patrick in an uncompromising position, to put Patrick and paint Patrick in a bad light. The video stopped at suma nitki moma asil, then the video stopped, it cut. So then you and me, the ordinary people that would not sit and close their eyes and think, the average Gambian is lazy, they don't go into things, would say, Patrick lako isil dinner, Patrick isil lako dinner, that, we run away with it. We run away with it. So now I'm going to make one more reference to that video, and you see where that video stopped, where you say, suma nitki moma asil, and then it stopped. But the actual real video, the actual length of what was recorded in the presence of these people was suma nitki dafma isil nyeti customers, 3 different customers. But the way the food video of Nubian was connected to that recording, and where the recording deliberately stopped with regards to the voiceover, you would think that she was actually thanking Patrick for what we saw being depicted in the video, which was the food. Can we play that video, please?
Hi.
Now, you see where it stops. Suma harid moma asil. And when you look at the video, you see that the video, you can only see Patrick Gomez in that video as a result of the reflex image that was coming from the mirror behind him. I mean, I think in physics it is called refraction. That's what we saw right there. So basically, the picture that is being painted and the situation on the ground are radically different. Radically different. This was Patrick Gomez, who has never met Meta Mbai, does not know who Meta Mbai is. Because remember, Meta, even though Gambians like to do connections, Meta Mbai is connected to the matter of Bob Keita and the state, or to Seinabu and the state, for the simple fact that she is the sister of both the alleged victim in the Bob Keita trial and the sister of the accused person, which is Seinabu Mbai, in this trial. So Patrick now goes somewhere, has absolutely no clue as to where he is, sat down there, and this person makes a video, makes a recording, but the person was thanking the person, the individual that Patrick went to give a ride, to say, thank you for bringing me 3 customers. Thank you for bringing me 3 customers. But the video that we saw that finally made its way to social media, to TikTok, depicted a radically different story. And this makes me scared. It makes me worried that as a society, as a country, as a nation, where are we heading to? Where are we heading to? If care was not taken to look deeply into this video, I would have come out to condemn the State Counsel, Patrick Gomez. I would have done that. In fact, I was ready to do that. I already drafted something. I drafted a write-up, and I was asking the same questions. What the hell would a senior state counsel be doing in the house, the sister of a person who's now... I was asking all the questions. But when I saw the grilled fish, knowing how many times I've been to Nubian, knowing the setup in Nubian, I started to wonder, how is it that when I saw the video, Patrick was being reflected, but the camera was turned at a particular direction. But rather than seeing a table before me with food, with fish, all I saw was hair products. All I saw was hair products. And I was beginning to wonder, how did the setup of the table and the grilled fish metamorphose to hair products in one single video? And then it dawned on me that this was a doctored tape. 2 completely different tapes being joined together, releasing it on social media to paint a gentleman in bad light. Yes, I have advocated for, passionately, I have advocated for and stood for and fought for a justice system that is honest, that is sincere, that is true, that is unbiased. But I will never, ever in my entire life come out and say things that are lies about officials of the Justice Ministry. I will never do that. It is beneath me. And I will not keep my mouth shut where I see and know that what is being said and what is being portrayed, they're nothing but lies, but filthy lies. Now, for those of you who do not know who Patrick Gomez is, I will refer you to quite a few things. One, I'm going to play a video. And I give credit and courtesy and say thank you to QTV because it was, I got the video from YouTube. And I want you to listen. And then I'm going to give a picture of who this gentleman is. So for those of you who were even beginning, and you know what's interesting? The way social media works. So when I begin to tell a few of my friends, a few people, to say, hey, you know what? This is my observation. This video is doctored. I suddenly realized the trend just radically shifted. People who posted stuff on him, on Patrick Gomez, questioning his integrity, deleted their post. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the only post I saw that was still standing was What's on Gambia. And What's on Gambia's post did not incriminate. They were asking a question. They were asking a question, and I'm sure this program today will now address that question that What's on Gambia was asking. And I'm sure, knowing What's on Gambia and knowing how credible they are, especially with things of this issue, societal issues, I'm sure they would do the needful if they deem it so to do. But you could tell how people were sending me, oh, Mel, I didn't look into that. Oh, Mel, I didn't even watch that. Oh my God, Mel, because it was done in such a manner that it would invariably taint the character, taint the integrity, the personality of this person. This is a person who I have watched very closely. It's a person who I have studied. In fact, when he took on the case, when he took on the role as lead counsel, after Kembengta was really having a hard time with the public in prosecuting this matter, I did say it. I did say that this is an individual who I know, based on his work ethics, based on what we have in the public domain, is a very straightforward and credible individual. I did say that I believe that he was going to prosecute the case of Bob in a very professional and ethical manner. And that was exactly what we saw. I will refer you back to my analysis where I said I was even shocked when he did not make an application to re-examine the witness, where he agreed with the defense in things that he knew was right, because his aim and focus, as far as I was concerned, was to see and ensure that justice is done, and done in a way and manner that was fair and just. So this is a person who, when I saw this video and I was beginning to wonder, this person that I know that has a history of doing what is right, this person that I know that has a history of showing and demonstrating that he's got character, this person that I have seen and know that is a person and a man of integrity, a man of his words, a man that would not use or abuse his public office or his position to go against and intimidate or persecute people. And then I saw him and I was wondering. In fact, at some point I thought, okay, you know what? Maybe it's just because of this, man, he likes girls and that's why he was there. No, the guy does not even know Meta. And this was established beyond a shadow of doubt. And I just explained that if at all Meta really knew Patrick, and Meta really had a relationship with Patrick, what we would see outside in the public domain would be exchange of messages, would be voice messages, would be text messages, would be call recordings. We would see videos of other scenarios in very uncompromising position. But that is not what we saw. We saw a video that a person has gone through length, sat down, edited, joined it together, and put it in the public domain. So in all fairness, I personally, I will always stand and defend people that I know are being framed, people that I know are victims of circumstances. I will always defend, I will always come out, and I will always speak the truth, and I will let the public know. I will break it down so that even a 7-year-old child will understand. Now I'm going to play a video. This video, as I mentioned, is courtesy of QTV, and then I will begin to go into what I know, what has been in the public domain, and as a lawyer, seeing from the outside another lawyer, I would go into his character and what I know of this person. Can we please play the video from QTV for the audience?
Traffic offense.
waaye nag yim nangu mooy li nga xam ne nii mooy tuuma yi ñu ko teg ci wàlli dawalam oto bi.
These were minor offenses.
nekk na nag ay tuuma yoo xam ne tuuma yu ndaw lañ.
And so when that was done,
gannaaw bu mu defee loolu.
and I decided to adjourn the matter.
ci la xalaat nag ne dama toxal nag layoo boobu.
So as to decide what would be the most appropriate sentence.
ci la xalaat nag lan nga xam ne loolu laa ko war a àtte.
That was because of the fact that
loolu mooy ndek mbir mi mooy.
at the time we were not very much familiar with those minor offenses which were the motor traffic offenses.
ndax jamono boobu nag ñun suñ xel motogutoon lu jëm ci wàlli defaar yu ndaw yooyu ci wàlli affaire yi oto dawalam oto.
Because as a first class magistrate would have been dealing with much more serious offenses.
ndax jamono boobu first class magistrate foog si nga war a jëflanteeg mbir yoo xam ne nii moo gën a foor loolu.
And as such there was a traffic court at the KMC.
ndax ci jamono boobu sax am na traffic court boo xam ne mu ngi daw ci KMC.
So we would hardly have a case wherein we would have been dealing with traffic offenses.
ci jamono boobu nag dana daan jafe daal pour ñuy jëflanteeg mbir yoo xam ne ni mbiri affaire yi dawalam oto la.
But since those charges were together with one count which was a felony.
benn ndegem ñaar yooyu nag mu ngi ànd ak benn boo xam ne nii tuuma la xam ne tuuma bu mat la.
which was the rash and or negligent act causing death.
di càggante ak daw yu métti ba xam ne nii nit am na ci bakkanam des na ci.
attracts a 10-year.
nga xam ne nii lu dem si fukki at.
imprisonment.
yoo xam ne mën nañ ko koy tëj.
I thought it wise to retire back and then advise myself better for sentencing.
ci laa xalaat ne daal foog si rek ma tegagum suma bopp xelal suma bopp ci mbir yooyu balaa maa dogal.
Mr. Gomez, at this time though, had the accused person pleaded guilty to the rash and or negligent act causing death?
jamono ji nag ndax fekk na ki nga xam ne moom lañ tuumaal nangu na tuuma biñ ko teg ne dawal ci càggante goo xam ne moo waral bakkani des ci ndax nangu na ko.
I can recall the accused person only pleaded guilty to driving without license.
maa ngi fàttaliku daal kiñ tuuma moom lim nangu rek mooy di dawal oto te amul licence.
But he pleaded not guilty to the rash to that act.
waaye nag nangu ci beneen bi nga xam ne moom lañ ko tuumaal.
And also pleaded not guilty to disobedience to lawful order.
te tamit nag nangu wi tamit lu jëm ci wàlli ne dañ ko jox ndigal boo xam ne nii daf ko bañ a dégg te lu ànd ak luwaa la.
So we only had 2 of the offenses to deal with regarding sentencing.
te tamit nag kon boobaa nag ñaari tefaar yi nga ñu ko tuumaal rek moom lañ dese pour atte ko.
And the ones that he pleaded not guilty would have subsequently gone to main trial.
te tamit yi nga xam ne ni yooyu la bañ foog si rek ñu dal di ko dugal ci mbiri atte.
Yes.
Continue to tell the commission what happened then after on that day.
léegi gannaaw bés boobu nag eggalil wax commission bi lana ci xew.
So when I indicated to the parties, that is the IGP representative and the defense counsel representing the accused person.
bi nga xam ne nag ci la waxal nag ñaar ñi nga xam ne ñoo ko seq mooy kenn ki nga xam ne moo fa teewal IGP bi ak ki nga xam ne ni moo doon taxawal kiñ tuumaal.
That the matter will be adjourned to the following day for sentencing.
ne mbir mi danañ ko toxal ba beneen bés bi ci war koo àtte.
The prosecutor at the time rose and made an application.
ki nga xam ne nii moo nekkoon police bi doon war a doxal na kayiti atte yi ci la jóg taxaw nag dal di sàkku dara.
That they need to see me in chambers.
ne dañ ma bugg a gis ci suma office.
Before I adjourn the matter.
balaa maa toxal nag atte boobu.
And I agreed to that.
ma ànd ci loola.
I stood down the matter.
ci la taxawalagum mbir mi.
And I went in chambers.
ma dal di dugg suma office.
And I invited the prosecutor.
ci la oo nag ki nga xam ne mooy prosecutor bi.
And also called the defense counsel.
ak tamit lawyer bi nga xam ne ni moo taxawaloon kiñ tuumaal.
So that I will hear what they have to say.
pour nag ma déglu ñoom itamit lan lañ war a wax.
And so the prosecutor informed me.
ci la ma prosecutor bi di police bi wax yëgal ma ne.
That he had received a direction that I have to pass a sentencing on the same day.
ci la wax ne ma ci la am jot na ndigal ne daal dama war a atte loolu ci benn bés bi keroog.
At this point.
Yes.
Did he tell you who he received this instruction from?
jamono jooju na waxoon na la ndigal loolu ci kan la ko jëlee.
just said from his superiors.
I
understand that they work on command.
I
also recall yes, go ahead.
Continue.
I also recall he told me that he is just merely conveying the message and not really forcing me to do otherwise. They seem to be worried about the message. Even the defense counsel was really worried about the message. And so I said to them, no problem, since that is the direction that you guys have received. I will abide by the directive. Well, let's go back to court and I will pass sentence.
Mr. Gomez, at the time the conversation was happening in your chambers, did the prosecutor give any indication as to how the sentencing should be passed?
No, he did not, because apparently the prosecutor throughout the trial was really acting in a very professional capacity. At least to my knowledge.
But the directive was that the judgment should be given, the sentence should be done on that day.
Yes. That's correct.
Wow.
And is it correct to say that that was the first day that you had actually received this case file?
That's
correct.
Wow,
can you continue to tell us what happened when you went back to the court to deliver the sentencing?
Yeah, so I've asked them to go back to court and then I will follow suit. So when they went back to court, I thought about the information. Then I said to myself that I think this is a time for me to just make sure I do the right thing. So I went to the courtroom. And then I still maintain my earlier decision, which is that I will still adjourn the matter for sentencing. And that was done.
Mr. Gomez, as per your statement that you delivered to this commission,
Mr. Gomez,
you have said an interesting statement in it. You said at the time, I decided to adjourn for sentencing the following day. I knew at the time that it was a risky decision to make, considering the situation we were in at the time. Magistrates have been sanctioned for decisions made in court. Please, can you explain to this commission what you meant by this statement?
Yes, we were living at a time wherein the environment at the judiciary was not really friendly. By that I mean there was no such of independence of the judiciary. And in fact, this independence was threatened both externally and internally. Externally by the executive or executive organs. And internally by the administrators we had at the time. Who would want to believe that they had to do the bidding of the president or the executive to clinch onto their offices. And And so time and again, you will see some of our colleagues who would be called to Banjul to answer to the CJ regarding the decision that they have taken.
léegoo-léeg nga gis suma nawle ñoo xam ne ni dañ leen oo ñu dem sa office CJ bi di Chief Justice ci dogal yi nga xam ne ni jël nañ ko.
And they will be struggling to even to try to defend and explain the reasoning behind their decision.
Tey dana daan jafe sax pour ñu mën a dëgëral seen bopp nag ci dogal yi nga xam ne ni jël nañ ko.
That was just uncalled for because in the legal in the judiciary there is always the hierarchy of courts in the appellate system.
Ndax ci wàllu yaate bi ni nga xam ne noonu lañ daan togalante su ñaay maqaama ak dogal yëpp ci jamono boobu.
And so we have always had the opinion that before we are sanctioned administratively, why not the parties, the aggrieved parties, applying or appealing the decision?
Te tamit nag ni comme balaa ñooy tong yooyu ñi nga xam ne nii ñoo ko seq rek ñuy dal di d'appel nag seen dogal yooyu.
And I will also later in my testimony explain how some of our colleagues had been arrested and detained.
Ci suma kàdduna dana nettali fii anam yi nga xam ne suma yenn nawle ñun lañ leen daan jàppee teg leen benn place.
And some had to even run out of the jurisdiction.
Ci ñoo xam ne sax dañuy mujjee dal di daw génn fi.
Because of the interference that we have received at the time.
Ndek jamono boobu noonu niñ daan dugale seen loxo ci wàllu àtte bi.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. It looks as if my mic was muted. Oh my days. Sorry. So I'll have to say everything I was saying again. So I was just saying that the reason why I played that video, sorry, I muted my mic whilst the TRRC recording was being played. I'm so sorry about that. I apologize. I forgot to unmute my mic. But before I continue, let me just say this. I always say this in my live videos. Can you please share this video? If everybody that is watching right now, I think I saw almost over 600 viewers, and I'm sure there's like 1,000 more viewing from the window, as they call it. If you can share this live video, please do. And also, say Ture wanted me to say that the stars that are being given is basically for her. She has like, I think 50% of the stars are going towards her charity, towards her foundation, the Mali Charity Foundation. So she wanted me to say that. She asked me to ask the audience, or she wanted me to pin, I think, a message, but I started and I didn't, I have not done that. I'll probably do that later on so that I can always, viewers can always see that message. But if you can just do me a favor by sharing this video, etc., I'll be grateful. But before I address this TRRC recording, I just want to say a few things. I'm seeing some of the comments, and I've just jotted down some of the questions that are being asked. By the way, if you look at the screen, I don't know if the number is there. There's a number. So today is going to be the first time where we're going to allow a live call in, so people can call in and ask questions and on this matter or anything that I've said. That is the number. You can add it on WhatsApp. You can either call WhatsApp or direct or whatever it is, but the number is right there on the screen. You can call this number, and this is the first time we're going to have a very interactive session today, because I really want to get to the bottom of this. From the comments, I can see that people are now convinced, and people know that this was like a total setup. So let me just address some of the very important points that I saw being mentioned. One was the girl knows that So that is they're referring to whoever it was that invited or asked Patrick to come there. Now, I am not, that is a bit far-fetched. That is remote. That I'm not going into that aspect. Probably we're going to have another program where we'll look at that. But that is not the reason why I'm doing this program. The reason why I'm doing this program is to establish the fact that it was a setup, to establish the fact that this was a genuine instance where a person walks into somebody's house not knowing, absolutely having no clue as to who the owner of the property is or whose property it was that he was going to. And I believe that was already established. Now, the question or the comment whether the person that actually called Patrick and asked Patrick to pick her up there knows that this was the plan, that I don't know. I'm not going to get into that bit. My research and my findings did not get to that point. What I want to establish now, I'm dealing with the person, with the character of Patrick Gomez, who's a state counsel, who's a lawyer at the Ministry of Justice. That is what I'm dealing with now. And what I'm trying to showcase is the fact that, yes, he is not known. Patrick does not know Metambai. Under no circumstances does he know Metambai. To show that under no circumstances does Patrick have any sexual relationship or any relationship of any sort with Metamba, and I believe this has already been established. The other thing that I wanted to establish was the fact that Patrick never took dinner or took food or anything, and the final part that I wanted to establish was that it was a doctored tape. It did not reflect the accuracy of what transpired. The recording was edited. It was a copy and paste editing, and therefore it does not reflect the reality of what happened. That was what I wanted to establish, and I'm satisfied that that has been amply done. Now, the other comment I saw was that somebody was telling Patrick that, oh, Patrick, you have to stay away from social gatherings. You don't have to. No. I am against that. Patrick is a state counsel. He's doing his job. Patrick is employed in just as every single person is employed. And I've said this before. The state councils working at the Ministry of Justice, prosecute or working as state prosecutors are just there to do their jobs. They are not enemies of the people. You cannot if you know I'm on live, you can't call me. So please don't call me. I'm doing a live recording. Don't call me because you know that I cannot speak to you at this point. Doesn't make sense, really. So basically, as I was trying to say, that you can't, Gambia is such a small country. Even in America, even in England, you won't tell a state prosecutor you cannot go to the particular area. You cannot go here because you have prosecuted a particular person. No, that is not. You cannot do that under no circumstances. The man has a right to live. He cannot curtail. He's not the one that did something bad. He's not an accused person. He did not do anything wrong, and therefore you cannot curtail his movements. You cannot restrict his movement. You cannot restrict his enjoyment by virtue of the job he does. You cannot do that. You cannot. You cannot say as a state prosecutor, oh, you can't go here, or watch where you go. No, you cannot do that. You see, I've always said that evil will be evil and good will be good. You cannot juxtapose the two. You cannot have good people suffer because they are bad people. No, you cannot do that. The man is a state prosecutor. He works from 9 o'clock to 4 p.m. Yes, there are ethical issues. There are things where it would amount to be conflict of interest. And that was why I said that I was asking myself, what was he doing in the house of the sister? I asked myself that question, but it has now been established beyond a shadow of doubt that he was only there because he was called by a friend to come and pick her up. He had no clue, no idea where he was going or whose house. And that is perfectly okay. He's human. I would have done that. Anybody else would have done that. He's not a rocket scientist. You don't expect just because he's a state prosecutor, just because he prosecuted a matter in a case between Bob Keita and the state, so now he should be an island. He should be confined to a particular. No, that is not going to happen. The people that are doing bad are the people that should be confined. You don't expect a good man to confine himself. So that cannot happen, really. So be it in Gambia or be it wherever it is, you cannot possibly do that as long as a state prosecutor is guided by the ethical code, guided by the code of ethics that govern his professional stance as a lawyer, as a state prosecutor. He abides by all policies that are within the structure of the Ministry of Justice. That is all. You cannot expect that individual not to give, or everybody that Patrick says, okay, fine, Patrick, can you give me a ride? Or whose house are you in? Can you show me the ID card of the person whose house you are in? Can you show me the picture? So in the event that Patrick did not even know who Metambai was, Patrick goes into that house. No, you cannot begin to confine a person in very remote instances. This clearly shows that two things happened. It was either a genuine coincidence where the person that asked Patrick to come and pick her up was just there and they didn't have a clue and it was just coincidence, or it was a setup. The person was aware, the person knew the connection, and the person asked Patrick to go. So whether it was a setup or whether it was not a setup, that is for you to make. That is an argument for another day. My purpose of doing this show and doing this program is to establish the innocence of Patrick. That is what I'm working on. Now, to now delve into the innocence or guilt or the conspiracy theory of the person that asked Patrick, that would be a topic and story for another day. So basically, what I'm trying to establish now is the fact that as a state prosecutor, he has a life to live, and he will live his life. It is not because he has prosecuted a matter that would make him be confined to things that don't ordinarily make sense and things that are not easy to handle, taking the particular situation of Gambia into play. If you want to say, for example, if you want to say that every single person that you have prosecuted or that has a matter that you dealt with, you would not deal with them, then you wouldn't be dealing with half of Gambia, because probably Sainabu or Bob or anybody are related to so many people. So many people that Patrick or any other state lawyer will come across in their lives. So really, that is not something that I can support. So I will go back to the point of the recording. So this was at a time during Jammeh's era when Patrick was serving as a magistrate. And what Patrick was narrating before the TRRC was a situation, a scenario where he was asked by a prosecutor, a police prosecutor, to actually give or hand down a sentencing on a particular day. Now, he as a magistrate refused to do that. He refused to follow the bidding of an executive directive. So what I'm trying to do is to show you the character of this person. This is not a person. This was not in Adama Barrow's time. This was a moment in Yahya Jammeh's time, and we all know what happened at the time. We all know what was happening with our judges, our courts, our magistrates, our civil servants. We all know the situation. And this was a guy that dared to challenge authorities, to challenge the status quo and say, you know what, damn it, I am not going to follow any executive orders. I will give my sentencing. I will do what I'm supposed to do. I will give out my judgment according to what I know is law, according to the facts before me, and according to the evidences that I have. I will not allow for anybody, even the head of state, even State House, even the IG of police, even the Chief Justice, I will not allow anyone to direct my judgment. So this is a person of character. This is what I know. This is what is in the public domain about this individual. And if anybody is out there that has a contrary view or has something else that's contrary, then it is your responsibility to come out with it. But as far as we are living, as far as we're here, as young people, as people growing up, as people working in the field, we will not allow evil to triumph over good. I have always said the position I have taken is for a stance, is to advocate for what is right, to not allow people to be victimized, to not allow people to suffer for things that they have no control over. to not allow people to be taken advantage of, and to not allow for people to be blackmailed, for people to be painted in a light that is not who they are and what they are. So basically, what I was trying to showcase is that this is a person who has stood the test of time. This is a person who has integrity. This is a person who we saw when he came over as lead counsel and took on the Bob Ketter trial. We saw that what we were seeing was not a persecution, but was a prosecution. He came, he got his colleagues that he had, he had more experience than, put them through, and he showed them the way. And we all know that eventually what we saw in court was that a prosecution was being done on the substance of the matter. And where he got to a point where he knew that he cannot possibly prosecute further, where he knew that his hands were tied, where he knew that the evidence that was before him does not warrant for the prosecution to go on, he decided to enter a nulli on behalf of the Attorney General at the time. And we saw how the matter ended. So this is a person who he did not say that, and let me say this, I don't know if people know that he could have said, okay, fine, yes, the evidence is negative, but I will continue to prosecute. Let the defense open his case, let the defense open their case, or let the defense file a no case to answer submission. But no, he did what he knew was right under God and under the law. So this is a person of character. And it is a person that has been now it appears, they're trying to put him in a very compromising position, or to actually display that, he has been caught in a compromising position. But we know that this has not been the case. And this is one of the most honest, sincere, upright state councils that we have. And I would always advocate, like I've always done, for people that are doing their jobs right to be celebrated, but not to be condemned. For people that are doing what is right, for people that are working within the ambit of the law, for people that are doing their jobs diligently, they're doing their jobs without fear or favor. These are the people that we should celebrate and encourage. And I will always advocate. And if I see things that is in the public domain, things that I feel we can talk on, things that I feel we can elaborate on, we could throw more light on, things that I feel we could correct the facts of false narratives that are being bandied around, we would always do so. So basically, that was really the point of this whole exercise, this program. But it's not going to stop here. Like I said, we're going to open the lines now, and then I am going to take questions from everyone basically that's here, and we're going to delve into this whole matter based on your assumptions and stuff. Also, we have a poll that's ongoing. We have a poll. Patrick Gomez, is he a villain or a victim? I absolutely believe that he's a victim. He's a victim of circumstance. He's a victim in this moment because it portrays what that video tried to do was to portray a scenario that never took place, was to portray a scenario that never happened, was to portray a scenario that would throw the character and the person of Patrick Gomez into bad light. But successfully, we thank God, and that is why I say always we go with the grace of God, that we have been able to debunk that. We have been able to showcase absolutely that the video was a doctored video, it was edited, and it does not reflect the actual happenings of what transpired in that particular moment. So that said, we will now take calls. I will also now begin to look at some of the questions that are being relayed or posted on the live chat or whatever it is, and then we'll take it on from there. So feel free to call. The number is on there. So the number is on the screen. Feel free to call. If I see any, okay, there's someone calling. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Emmanuel. Good evening.
Good evening. Who am I speaking to?
This is Susie speaking, Susanna.
All right. Hi, Suzanne. You're on. Take it off, man.
Yes. Okay, I am on here. Thank you very much, Melville, for clearing up the air, because this has been it has been going on for the whole day. Actually, it's like our heads were knocked left, right, and center, causing arguments between ourselves. So you have cleared up the air. But what I wanted to ask is, this Meta or whatever her name is, can't Patrick sue her because Patrick was recorded without his knowledge, and it was put for everybody to see, to know that Patrick has gone to their shop, which is it Saks or whatever it is. That's what I wanted to ask. Whether Patrick cannot sue, because I think it is against the law to record somebody without the person's knowledge and put it online. I don't know whether the Gambia, I know Senegal, it is against the law. So, and even Europe here, it is against the law to record somebody without the person's knowledge. If Gambia has that same law, can't Patrick apply the same law? Because I think this my family is getting out of hands now. We call them our local Kardashians. Okay? And also, my question is, when Patrick went to that place, Saks, because everybody knows that there is a signboard on top which says Saks, which everybody knows that it's saying the Mumbai's place, and with all these, all the problems of Boketa and all these things that's been going on for God knows how many years, Saks has been everywhere on the news. Not actually on the news, but on the media. Everybody knows that this place is Saks. If Patrick goes to that place and sees the signboard Saks, why did he enter? That is my question. Why did he enter? Because that is a place that, for Patrick, with his caliber, it's a no-go area for him. Because it's just this type of accusations that he should have avoided in the first place. Those two are my questions. Thank you very much.
Can you just repeat your two questions without all the narratives with it, so that I just get it? Because
Okay.
I was listening to just your two questions. What's the first question?
Can Patrick sue this girl? What's her name again?
Can you sue for what? I know a lot of times in Gambia we say, can you sue, but can you sue for what? What is he suing for? What
he's
is
been
Patrick
recorded
suing for?
and put in the public domain.
So can he
even
sue?
in UK, as a lawyer, you know that Melville.
Yeah. Hang on. I'm trying to get this.
Record somebody.
Yeah. Wait, I'm trying to get. You said your question was, can he sue? And what I'm trying to establish is that, because I've heard a lot of Gambians, when they speak, they will say, "Oh, I will sue you. I will sue that." But you sue for what? There are different sorts of redress. There are different prayers that you can ask a court for. So that's why I was trying to get you to qualify it, to find out what is it that you want Patrick to sue for. And now you're saying,
okay, number one, I believe that it's a defamation of character by putting Patrick's image with that fish and I don't know what nonsense, saying that my friend Sumanitsky, that's my Indian, and then showing Patrick's face as in Sumanitsky. Obviously, she was talking to Patrick by saying Sumanitsky, that's my Indian, and then the plates, the whole, buffet plate, whatever it is. That is a crime.
Okay, the first thing I want to establish, okay, so that's the first question, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's address the first question. Now, whether he can sue or cannot sue, that is left for Patrick to decide. And Patrick would have to look at the ramifications of either suing a person where Patrick was found in their premises, where the video that was being taken was not directly recording Patrick, it was recording other things, but Patrick was reflected in the mirror, as I explained, and if you look at that video. So Patrick would have to weigh the options to find out whether he has any grounds in suing the individual. Secondly, in the video, like I said, it is a matter of opinion. For example, I have looked at the video. I have been able to decipher or to deduct from that video that it was edited. I have been able to deduct from that video that the message was uncompleted, that she never made reference to the name Patrick. She didn't call Patrick's name, but it could be inferred if you look at the video based on what end of the spectrum you are, that it is being referred to as Patrick. But I now know that it was not what the voiceover, it had nothing to do with Patrick Cummins. Rather, it was her thanking another person, a third party that was there, thanking them for bringing her other customers. So you have to look at all these things. You have to look at what is the advantages of Patrick now wanting to sue this girl, and what is it that Patrick can actually derive from taking that action. So I don't think, if you ask my opinion, yes, Patrick can, anybody can sue. Anybody can sue for whatever, but however, if the action that you bring in court will be successful or not, that would be a matter for another day and dependent on the circumstances of it. I wouldn't advise him to sue. There's nothing to sue for. The fact is that the truth has been unmasked. The public now know exactly what transpired. They know that Patrick was not there under the auspices of Meta Mbai. They know that Patrick did not know Meta. They know that Patrick was asked by a third party to go and collect him. Whether it was a setup from that third party and Meta, I don't know. It's a story for another day. But what has been absolutely established is the fact that Patrick has no relationship with Meta, never met Meta, never spoke to Meta, and did not go to that premises because of Meta. Can we move on to the next question?
Okay, my next question is, when Patrick went to the place, was there not a signboard? Obviously, there was a signboard, because everybody knows the one in Turntable and the one in Latrikunda thingy. They all have signboards.
Well, this was not. Let's get something. I think people are confusing. This was not Sena Mumbai's shop. Rather, it was Meta's shop. So the issue of the signboard of Saks would not apply. They all have their own business. She's got a hair salon or cosmetic, whatever that she does. She's got her own stuff. So this was Meta's. So the two are not the same.
Okay, thank you very much, Margaret.
You are welcome. Thank you so much. So that was a caller asking some questions. So are there any other callers? We'll take some more calls. Or if you just want to contribute, it doesn't necessarily have to be a question. Hello?
Hello, Mel.
Yeah, hello. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, Mel.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Ibrahim. Can I speak?
All right, go on. You're on.
Right. Mel Jilajef, Mala Ibrahim. Mel, I agree with you on a few things. Sister analysis, why we all know that Patrick is innocent in this thing. So
can you talk a little bit loud, please?
Hello?
Yeah, well, that's fine now. It's okay. I can hear you now.
So by help, Patrick, he's really innocent in this thing. Mungi talk signal Jigeni, Bugai don't jail video, which means that he's not involved into anything with these people, right? Why is more problem with Moy? Come Lujigan be like a force. Hanabu Patrick on Duga Fufuno, just on signboard, people Barabu on Duga Fufuno. Ulumoy was my fourth question, why Jigan you were last in a paper. And the second thing is, can it happen? One time that happened, what did low?
This happened day before yesterday. It happened yesterday.
What time
the video was released this morning. Pardon me?
What time was this? Around what time do you think?
I don't know what time it is, but it was yesterday evening. I don't know exactly what time it was.
That's what I was asking, because this looks like it was in the night, not in the day.
Yes, but the point I want to establish, we have to establish something now. Whether it was day or night, 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., if the facts were that Patrick went to see Meta, Patrick went to Meta's house, Patrick had something to do with Meta, as a senior state counsel, when Meta's sister, 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 Meta's is an accused person being prosecuted by the very same institution that Patrick works for, that would have appeared as him being in a uncompromising situation. In a compromising situation, it could have amounted to some sort of ethical issues, and it could have amounted to some sort of conflict of interest on the side of Patrick. Now, now, where it is established that Patrick had absolutely no prior knowledge of where he was going, that it was a circumstantial matter of event where Patrick was called and asked by a particular friend to say, can you pick me up at this residence? And remember, it is not a shop. Remember, this person has a house. It's a home of this lady, Meta.
Can I interject there? How to call it, Mel?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, because she called, how to call it, Patrick to come over when it was raining. Right? And when he came, instead of the girl coming out to the car, he has to go into the shop. And this is where the whole confusion was, right?
No, but you did, if you listened, and I'm going to get...
If you listen to Isaac's voice, Isaac's, how to call it, recording that you played to us, that's what he says. Don't tell, isn't it?
No. What she said was...
I think you need to play it again to listen to it.
Yes, I will. So but I want to establish a point. What we are trying to establish, it is not what the third party, it is not what Aisha said or did not say. It is not what Aisha knew or what Aisha did not know. The purpose, what I am trying to establish, it is what Patrick knows and what Patrick did not know. Aisha has absolutely no relevance in this matter, aside of the fact that was she part of a setup or not. The people that have relevance in this matter is Patrick, who's a state counsel, who is working for the state, which is prosecuting the sister of the property that she was found in. What I have refused to do is to get on the third party angle, where we are now trying to analyze the circumstances by which the girl asked Patrick to get into the house. That's a different topic for another day. What we are trying to establish, beyond a shadow of doubt, is whether Patrick actually went to that property to visit Metambai. And that has been absolutely proven that is false, that Patrick did not know Meta from Adam, and Patrick did not go to that house because of Meta.
Exactly. Because Bumari realized that this was a setup, then Kofadugal, why probably he doesn't even pay attention to the name on the signboard.
Exactly. And then and then you begin to, exactly, that's my point. But then you begin to ask yourself, I see people making very, very, remote suggestions, and then you begin to wonder. So just because Patrick took part in a trial that was of public nature and everybody talked about it, so you want to change the lifestyle of Patrick because of that trial? That's nonsense. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
That's right. I think lately, I was with you at the end. People prosecute. More advice to all the fellow Gambians or whatsoever, he has a beautiful wife, he cannot do that. I think we need to spare that to all of us. You might understand, because we know you especially when you get people tackling their behavior, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's an excuse that the jigen. It's not about the jigen or whatsoever. It could be her friend. I'm not saying it's her girlfriend, but put that in. I live in you because you live in, because we all know what we do. I don't understand. So I'm not accusing her husband of just seeing the girl or seeing girls or whatsoever. But seeing you,
yeah, what I tried to do is I tried not to get into things that don't concern me. Whether Patrick is
Exactly.
dating somebody or Patrick is not dating somebody, or this is Patrick Gavin, that's none of my business, to be honest. You understand? I mean, I always go. I don't get into the petty squabbles and things. That's for people to do, and for them to go into probably another platform that does gossips. I don't do that. So I am not going to concern myself with that. It's absolutely none of my business. Patrick is a full-grown man, a full-blown adult.
I do follow you a lot, and I do learn from you. And anytime you come on, I'm always on watching you. And I think this is a very it's a classroom for me. I would say there are a few platforms that I learn from, and definitely you put knowledge in me or whatsoever, or whoever is watching. It's very interesting when you come on. Thank you very much once again, man.
We all have to understand that there are certain things. For example, Patrick as a state prosecutor is not different from a doctor who's treating a patient. They both have ethical standards that both of them, the lawyer prosecuting the accused person and the doctor taking care of that patient, that both of them must abide by. Now, what I cannot understand is why Gambians, most of the time, rather than us look at an issue substantively and look at the substance behind the issue, people start talking, oh, he has a beautiful wife, that's irrelevant. Those things are nobody's business. What has a person having a beautiful wife got to do with what we're talking about? So I don't even respond to those things. It was just because you brought it up. But usually I don't respond to those things. I
understand that.
I stick to the most
advice.
I stick to the issues. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, though.
Thank you, Mel.
Yeah. And I want to respond to Yasin. Yasin, I just saw your question. You said the $1 million question is what the relationship. Which girl are you referring to? Because it seems as if you're just joining the program now. And if you are, if you could qualify your question, and then I will respond to your question. I will answer your question. What girl are you referring to? And what is the relevance of the relationship that you're referring to? So if we can get to that part. So we'll just move on. If we have another caller, we'll take another caller. But in the meantime, I'm looking out for oh, I forgot the name now again. Where's the question? Oh, Yasin Low. Yasin, if you can qualify that question, and then I could try to answer that question. But the beautiful thing is that we have established beyond a shadow of doubt that okay, they're asking me to play the video. So if we can just play the video again, and after the video, can we play the message that I got from the person that was asked to that Patrick was picking up? Okay. Yasin, okay, so before that, let me just answer this question. Yasin is asking me, what is the relationship between Patrick and a particular person who she's referring to as Aisha? Well, to be honest, Yasin, I don't know what is the relationship, but the relationship that Patrick has with a person called Aisha is none of my business, and I don't think it should be the business of anyone. Patrick is a full-grown adult who is going about his business. If Patrick wants to have a relationship with Aisha, that is for Patrick. That is Patrick's business. I do not believe that it is anybody's business to establish a relationship that Patrick has with a person that has got nothing to do with Patrick. So yes, whether the girl is called Aisha or Aisha too or whoever, I don't know what the name of the girl is, but you said somebody Aisha. But the point is, we need to understand and establish, just because Patrick is a state prosecutor does not mean that any of us now have the right to curtail Patrick's movement or to dictate to Patrick what Patrick does or who Patrick befriends or who Patrick speaks to. That is rubbish, absolute rubbish. We cannot do that. It doesn't make sense. It defies logic. Patrick has the right to associate with anybody he wants. That's his constitutional right. As long as whatever he does not and is not in conflict with the job he does. I don't think it is our business to address what the relationship is with Patrick and that particular person. He's a grown man. He has a right to do exactly what he wants to do, as long as it does not appear to be in conflict with the work that he does. So if there are no calls, I'll probably just, okay, we're having a call now.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, hello.
Yeah. How are you? Can I be linked up to the program, please?
You are on the program.
All right. Mel, how are you doing? I mean, I've been following your program. Yeah, and I just want to associate myself clearly with your position regarding this Patrick issue. Yes, you are right. Clearly, Patrick should not change his life because of this issue. Of course, he's a public servant, and sometimes you come under a lot of scrutiny and a lot of public. But my question here is, I'm not saying Patrick knows Meta or doesn't know Meta, but I'm looking at the timing here and the circumstances. Clearly, he needs to watch his because when you are involved in matters like this, there will be a lot of interest groups, and some of these interest groups you may not know what. Some of these motives might be altered, and so you have to also look at the nature of the invitation, the timing of it, the circumstances of it. I'm not saying there is anything fishy, but one needs to be extremely careful. I'm not saying Patrick should actually proceed to change his life or way of living, but going forward, I just want to sound a little bit of a caution for him to take note. In matters like this, one really needs to be extra cautious, because if you look at the timing of the call, inviting a counsel to come inside at that particular moment, and all of a sudden you have a video out there in public. It's worrying. I mean, I'm not concluding, and I'm not really saying that he is aware of what was going on, or he's not aware of what was going on. But this Isa guy really should be, her conduct should really be looked into. Why did she call Patrick at that moment? And the invitation at that particular area, knowing very well that Patrick is handling high-profile cases, especially a case that involves someone who is very related or very close to Meta. And he knew very well that West is inviting Patrick to come to, has somebody called Meta, and this Meta lady is related to one of either Bob Keita, not related to Bob Keita, but related to Senabo. And I mean, one has to be extremely careful. I mean, that is just a word of caution I just want to put out there. I mean, I don't want to conclude, so don't want to take anything for granted. So he needs to be extremely careful. Thank you.
Yes. Can you stay on the call, please? Hello. Hello. Okay, we've lost that caller. But is it possible to call back? Is it possible to call back and stay on the call? If that's all right. Can you please call back and stay on the call? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, hello. Is that Melville?
Yes, this is Melville.
Yeah, I want to contribute.
Sure, you can. Who am I speaking to?
Nene Frida Gomez.
Okay, Nene, take it on. Yes, you can. Sure, absolutely. Carry on.
Okay. Thank you very much for doing this show, Mel. Again, this is what I expect of you because I know who you are. I know your character. Justice for you, it's a no-no. But let me just get straight to the issues here. I am glad for the people who did not know Patrick before. Maybe they only came to know him because of the Bob Ketter Saina Mumbai trial. You played the TRRC gave you, which is just a snippet of who this guy is, for them to have, a hint of who they're referring to or who we are talking about here, because it's really, really important. For me, I commented on somebody's messenger when they were talking in the afternoon. I said, okay, what you guys need to do is when something is being said about somebody, two things. You first of ask who is saying it first. Then you ask about who are they referring to. These two things are very, very important. Where the message is coming from and who are they referring to, who the message is intended to make or break. Now, Gambia needs to understand, I think this particular family in question, when it comes to credibility, they have it nada, zippo, zero. They have lost it. They're in the negative. And nobody should take them for seriously. Because if anybody can go to this length just to get somebody down, anybody that they encounter with, they will not stop at anything. That's what you need to understand. One, I saw the comments. People are asking, okay, Patrick should not go there, where he did not see the sign. Patrick should have known. The girl knows. That is all besides the point. That is a discussion for another period, because we cannot go into the girl's mind to understand or to know whether really she did it, it is a setup or not, whether she intended to do it or not. One thing I can establish is this is a girl that did not know Patrick today, or Patrick did not know the girl today. This is somebody that they knew each other from, a long time ago, the boyfriend, the friend, some kind of mutual friendship that existed between this particular girl and Patrick and other friends. That much I can establish. But now moving along to not bring this girl into even this. We all know what Meta was trying to do, right? Because, I have spoken to Patrick, and Patrick did tell me when he walked into the shop, Meta was not even there. Meta walked in after Patrick walked into the shop. And as soon as Meta walked in and was doing that video, and that's why you could see that the video was cut short. That's when Patrick, as soon as Patrick set his eyes on Meta and recognized him, that's when he got up. It was not even more than 3 minutes in that shop. He did not spend more than 3 minutes in that shop. That's when he walked out, got up and walked out, and then this particular guy, he left. So basically, nothing much could have happened. He never knew where he was going because he was given directions to go there, according to him. But again, somebody can say, well, Patrick is covering or Patrick is this. But you need to know the individual. Xam ne lu ñu war a bàyyi mooy tel rek na damana. Nit ki dafa am xam boo ko xam da nga xam ne suñ waxee ne moo def lii, you can run with it and say dëgg la moo ko def. Suñ ne moo def lii, you can say, xanaa lu xew mu def ko. Am na lu tax. Nañ leen seet, nañ leen teey. You understand? But, if it was somebody else, I would have even bothered myself to discuss it. But this particular family, I can authoritatively say ne ñii musta moo leen tane parce que musta dee jur muy sànni waaye ñii musta moo leen tane. They're not better than anything because they will do anything to destroy people. Their life is just hinged and bent on that, and people need to be careful. But one thing I can tell you, gis nga ñaani waajur, ñaani ndey ak baay ku ko am rek kooku kenn mënu koo yaaxa. Why ñaani waajur ku ko amut ci kasaara rek nga nekk te we can see the two. You need to know the individual, and let's be careful to be judgmental. Let's look at the history. Let's look at their background. Let's look at what they are bent on doing and the people they've interacted with. Just this Bob Keita saying about my case, it's a learning curve. Can we this mistake on this to even think twice when these people get interaction with anybody else? All they know is evil. They eat, breathe, and smell, smell evil, walk evil, sleep evil. That's all they do. I mean, if at all because of Bob Keita has been freed, now you want to kill or skin somebody alive because he was involved in the case as the prosecutor, you're getting it all wrong. And you're really punishing somebody for no good reason. It's unfair. And people need to be careful. And you know what? Today is Patrick. Tomorrow it might be your brother or your boyfriend or your cousin. Trust me. This family, they're bent on destroying everybody else they set their eyes on. Anybody that seems to be laughing when you call Bob Keita's name, they're going to come after you. And put this to the bank. I'm serious about it. So we really, really need to be careful. The way we dissect this issue and the way we handle it. Let's not vilify somebody who really does not deserve that. Somebody who's credible, somebody who's worked with character diligently to the best of his ability. Ahmad Halis, Joge Wuti family, Halis is from a very, very humble beginning. But if you see the way he lives his life, you will know that he's living it diligently with dignity and with class and with grace. Not Sunekon Kenen, you have said it. Somebody who has stood the test of time under Yaya Jammeh regime. Ak Seyla Bungay family, dinañ ko choke. And you know what? Patrick is a very, very good person. Because if Patrick wasn't a good person, understand that this family would have been destroyed within a blink of an eye. I can tell you that for a fact. I can tell you that for free. But because of who he is not vindictive. He is not up to trying to go after people, but doing a job. He is sitting on things that can destroy this family within a blink of an eye, and he refused to do it. So let them go sit back, tight, and get their acts together. If not, they will go back to bite their fingers for their own actions. They need to be careful. Melvin, let me let you go.
Yeah, thank you. The fact is, it has been established beyond a shadow of doubt that Patrick is being set up. That video is not a true reality and reflection of what happened. And the reason why I played the TRRC recording was to establish, to showcase. You see, every single person has a history. Every single person has what it is that guides them, what it is that they are, who they are as a person. And I believe the reason why I showed that video was to show the type of person he is. This is a person, and maybe I should say this whilst you're on the phone. This is a person who, if you remember the girl that was shot by the PIU officers.
Yes, I do.
There was a girl, and I would just like to relay this story for them. There was a girl that was shot by some PIU officers because apparently the taxi driver refused to stop. And these PIU officers shot, and this girl was hit, and the girl eventually died. And of course, because the PIU officers were part of the state wanted to put the blame on the driver rather than the PIU officers that actually shot the girl. And this driver was taken to court. And Patrick was given an executive directive that the driver should be sentenced. Patrick refused. He acquitted and discharged the driver. Yes, the driver was running because later what came out from the facts of the case was that the driver did not stop because he was scared. He didn't have his papers. I think his driver's license or insurance was expired. So he then went on to court. He took the matter in such a way that where the driver failed to stop because the driver had, I can't remember now the facts, whether it was driver's license or insurance or road tax, that was dealt with. The driver pleaded guilty to those charges. He dealt with that. He sentenced the driver accordingly for those charges. But to take the blame away from the PIU officers and put it on an innocent man, the driver, he said his conscience would not allow it. It's on the Foroya newspaper, and I'm going to put the link for people to look at. This guy said that as a young magistrate at the time, he said his conscience would not allow him to convict that innocent driver for the death of some girl when he knew that driver was not the person that fired the shots. And the people that fired the shots were never brought to book. So why would he now sentence a driver to take on something that he did not do? Again, and so basically, this is a person who has integrity. This is a person who does not have one, from what we have seen, does not have any bad bone or bad blood in him. So why would we sit down as a society and just say, okay, fine, we're going to vilify this person, we're going to do things to affect his job, we're going to incriminate him by a useless, edited, doctored video that we know does not reflect the truth? We're not going to allow that. And I'm glad you came on. I'm glad you testified and spoke from your knowledge based on what you know about him. And I'm glad the audience, people that are listening, are reasoning and making sense of this whole situation. So thank you very much for your contribution. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
So if we have another caller, are there any calls?
Assalamu alaikum.
Malaikum salam.
Melvin, nanga def?
Mangfi.
Okay, man, dama am sama little contribution luma buga def ci program bi.
Sure, carry on. Go ahead.
I don't know why people are blaming Patrick. Man, for suma gis bu ndaw gisuma dara lu Patrick def ci whole ci problem bi ni. Patrick he's dafa melni dafa don dimbale doomi Adama rek ñu buga ko dugal ci problème. Li motax legi jamono bi pour dimbale nit mo difficult because da nga nekk di dimbale nit ñu buga la indil problème. ñi nekk di wax ne Patrick la motax mu dem fofu ni la motax mu ni dafa wara watch out. Patrick la motax mo wara watch out lan la def ci addu Gambia bi lo xamantene dina ko hunt wala dina ko tere move def movement am yi. I don't see it. Patrick lu baax rek la fi def. Nañ ko dimbale man di whole thing mooy Meta la blame parce que Meta soo ko xoolee that doon film Patrick without Patrick even knowing that Meta parce que daf ko doon génne tuuti rek mu saa pour woon ñu ne Patrick ñëw na moo ma jëndal lii so Patrick xamul si dara.
No.
nañu ñu bàyyi di wax ne Patrick warut a dem foofu parut a Patrick
Kola, if you look at the video, Meta did not even record Patrick there. Turn on camera be on Patrick there. Meta was recording the opposite. Meta was standing in front of Patrick. Patrick was at the back. The reason why you saw Patrick was because of the reflection of Patrick's image on the mirror.
Yeah, but the thing is, she was videoing Patrick without Patrick knowing it. So holy Meta.
Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Patrick.
Exactly. So it was not like she was doing a video like, okay, Patrick, let me put you on video. Exactly.
Man, the whole scenario, she was just searching the video the Patrick, the man Patrick. Poor Aduna Bine. Patrick Nyonas Masalon, Momo Jendali. Why so holy table before like a bineke, Axalo Minumel? It's different thing. Come good.
No, it's different. It's different. But you see, the point is people keep saying that Patrick has to be careful. Patrick has to be careful.
No. Patrick Patrick knows very well what he's doing. Patrick is not stupid.
Patrick is not stupid.
Crying out loud.
That's what I'm saying. Patrick is not an idiot.
Fuma ko blame tuuti rek buñ ko waxee ne kay génn nga ñëw toog fii waaye moom am man si suma gis-gis bu ndo xëj na dafa foog ne kooku daf ko yërëm parce que nekk si moto bi whole time.
No. Let me explain. Let me explain what people don't know. That is a hair. She does makeup and hair and stuff like that. So she went. But this is an ordinary thing. You see, man, Gambians are very funny people. You see, when Gambians evaluate things that is not them, they try to bring every single detail and stuff. This is something that would happen to any Gambian, including the ones commenting. I have been places. I have been to several places where I go to pick up people. They're inside a hair braiding salon. I sit in the car and tell them, don't do that. Don't go in. Come in. Don't do that.
Exactly.
It has happened a billion times. So I'm not going to allow anybody to confuse my mind. This is what happens in the real world. This is what is natural. This is what happens every day. You go to I've been places people come to collect me. I'm not ready. I tell them, come in, come inside or
Exactly.
whatever. Come in.
Manda,
You probably want to chat. You probably want to do something. Or knowing how women, knowing how women operate.
Fuma
Maybe
Fuma
it's a sub.
suma kadu bi rek moy.
Okay, Karen.
Fuma Daniel suma kadu moy. Man, we can blame Patrick si issue bi si film bi ni. And second determine, Patrick was just trying to be nice to them as a gentleman. Moko dugal sili.
Yeah.
So man li dafa tax léegi ku bëgg a def nit lu favor bu baax danga ko ragal a def parce que xam nga yow yaa ngi try pour may nit lif mu ne la wàccal nga ne ko diide fii baax na mu ne noo wàccal though I was not there du ma woo xam naa ne noonu la moo demee mu ne diide wàccal fii mu ngi taw being the nice person ngeen ok xaaral ma wàcca nga dem toog understand nga ñu commencé di video seen friends ñu jëlaale yow sa kanam ñu dem jël food from somewhere ñu join ko si vidéo bi ne yow yaa fa ñu li nga def man soo naa ne film bi daal nii la demee nii leen ko dugale so let people stop blaming Patrick ñu try ñu work si suñu generation bi nu moo demee parce que lii is just scary.
Man, what is scary for me, what is more scary for me is the fact where people have already established that, okay, you have a doctored video. And no, it's not everybody. It's just a few people, to be honest. It's just a few people. But where they have established that, okay, no, this video doesn't add up. One part is showing a restaurant. One part is showing a shop. So this is not the accuracy of it. But then,
man, for some reason, gis nga bu ma xoolee video balaa may xool sa analysis bu ma xoolee video man suma rakane man ko ne comment man ko waaye kii restaurant la génne ak salon fii restaurant la xaw ma ban restaurant anyway waaye fii restaurant la ti salon la léegi video man all of a sudden ma gis yoo nga da nga analyse fan xaaral ma def bi lu moo wax.
Yeah. So basically, what it is that things are happening. Things are happening. Yeah, you cannot expect a person. You cannot expect a person to. So, for example, now what the suggestion I'm seeing is that Patrick should never give somebody a ride. And because Patrick is giving somebody a ride, and they say to Patrick, "Oh, come in," Patrick should never go in. And the reason why this is happening is because there's a person called Sena Mumbai, or there's a person called Bob Keta, or what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
This guy is a state prosecutor and has prosecuted hundreds, if not 1,000 cases that are even more serious. The gravity of those offenses are more serious than the Senabu trial. This guy has been part of prosecuting people that are accused of treason. Treason is the most serious crime in our criminal code.
They just don't understand. Fatu me lu mo def ni mu ngi gëna dugal bopam ak seen family si problem. Parce que li is not the solution. Let her stop all this nonsense. Ñu focus en code bi ñu try lu ñoo def.
You cannot expect this person not to do the normal, ordinary things of life because he took on a case or he prosecuted a matter. You cannot expect somebody to do that. If Patrick had done other things that we know can be deliberately, or we know that can be actually attached to the actions of Patrick, we can say it. But an innocent thing that he does, gave somebody a ride, they said come in, he realized the situation, walked out. You cannot penalize that guy under no circumstances.
Anyway, this is our agenda. We ladies, we are very powerful. Sumbuge am dara rek dinañ ko am.
Well, I don't. I wish you guys good luck.
You guys have to be very careful. You guys have to be very careful. You watch and you know gonna smart.
They said your voice. They said your voice sounds like.
You know powerful. We run the world.
They said
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, I'm telling you that people are commenting. They said your voice sounds like Sena Mumbai.
God forbid. Auzubillahi minash shaitani rajim.
Anyway, that was just a joke.
Astaghfirullah. She's evil. I don't even want to know her.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Balal, I don't.
Good night, my brother. Good night. Keep it up. I just love your program. Keep it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. You see, people have to understand that you cannot yes, as a person, as a professional person, there are things you can do to safeguard yourself, but there are other things that are just circumstantial. That there are things that you would find yourself as a person in the, in different, in various circumstances, and there's nothing you could do about it. Nothing you can do about it. Let me give you guys a story. So when I went to Gambia, this guy was telling me a story. It's an old man. I'm sure I've said this before, but it's an old man, and he said that he was driving along Batil Hardin Highway, that is from Kairaba police station, the traffic light, and he was going towards either Kotu. So from traffic light, you get to Kotu before you get to Palmarima. So he was going to Palmarima, he says, yeah, Palmarima. So he said when he passed, he was driving, and when he went past the where there's traffic light where the taxis used to be and stuff like that. So this girl was on the road. The girl was on the road. So the girl actually was like, just hitchhiking and looking for a ride. So he said he stopped the car, and then when he stopped the car, the girl was like, Papa, for them. And he said to her, oh, mange them Palmarima. And where are you going? He said, no, mange them, which one is father? Yeah, Palmarima, yeah. So and then the lady said to her, okay, I'm getting off at Kotu police station. Yeah, no, I'm getting off at the Elton before Kotu police station. Yeah, that's what he said. The Elton. So he said, oh, Dugal. So he said the girl got into the car. So when the girl got into the car, they drove, and just before Elting, he started to slow down because he thought the girl was gonna get off the car at Elton. But then the girl said, Papa, tadunga ne Palmarima. Knew them, did not watch a board or something like that. So he said he went on. So he said just before they got to Palmarima, imagine this man does not know this girl from Adam. So he said just before they got to Palmarima, there was a whole group of, these boys that, just be like a whole group of boys. There's about 6 of them. They were on the road and stuff like that. And the girl, he said the girl just turned to him, and the girl was like, just held his shirt, scolded him. It's like, you know what? Thomas Mahalis. And he was like, he said at first he couldn't talk. He was looking at the girl. And he was like thinking maybe the girl mixed, So he said everything was, he said, Thomas Mahalis Lawa. The girl started screaming. He said, so he stopped the car. And then when he stopped the car, he said, all of a sudden, these group of boys, he just saw them started walking towards his car. So he said, hello, I think we're having a call. Hello?
Hello, man.
Yes. Can you just hold on? Let me just finish this story. Can you just hold on, stay on the line?
Okay.
So he said, so this boy started coming. So he said, but something just said to him, he said he doesn't even know why he did that, but something just said to him, you know what? You just passed Kotu police station. He said he just pressed his accelerator and just turned the car and was driving towards Kotu police station. He said now the guys that were standing, he said when he tried to turn the car, they started trying to stop him to try to open his car door, but he was driving at top speed. So they couldn't stop his car. He said, so the girl now was sat in the car, and then the girl was shouting, screaming. The girl opened her own side of the passenger door on her side, and the girl was shouting, yeah, that's my Bugatti, Stumahali. So when the girl knew that he was going into Kotu police, he said, but because there was a car coming from the direction of the traffic light, and he had to slow down so he could turn into Kotu police station. So when he slowed down and stopped the car to wait for the oncoming traffic to go past so that he can drive into Kotu police station, the girl just got off the car and ran. He said the girl just got off the car and ran. So he went into Kotu police station, told them exactly what happened. The police came, they looked everywhere, they couldn't find that girl. They couldn't find the girl. But just imagine if those boys had stopped. I don't know if it was a plan. She knew those boys were going to stand there, or they were standing there, or whatever. I don't know. But they would have now forced this man to give him money, or start beating the man up, or doing stuff. I mean, just imagine what would have happened. So really, there are circumstances. Yes, you can protect yourself. You can protect yourself, but what I cannot understand is when people now try to advocate that people would even change their own lifestyle because of evil people. No, you would be cautious, but you cannot change the good in you. You cannot change the humanity in you. You cannot do that. Paula, sorry, you can go on.
Hello, Mel.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got a question.
Okay.
To ask. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Or if I'm wrong, I might be wrong. I don't know whether I didn't understand what Nene says or the other lady says.
Okay.
The thing is, when Nene spoke to you, she did say when who is it? Mr. Gomez came inside. Then she saw this girl recording. She went out. And when we play Isa's tape, Isa did say, Mr. Gomez didn't even know who is Meta. So it's a little bit confusing. What I believe is this Isa know exactly what he's doing. So because he said Mr. Gomez don't know who is Meta. And Nene said when Mr. Gomez went in, she saw Meta came in recording, and then she started to go out. So which is which?
Okay. My own version that I know of, I will tell you, because I spoke to the lady who did the recording, who they're referring to as Aisha. I spoke to her. And when I spoke to her, because in fact, if you listen to the message, you will realize that she was responding to a message I had sent to her. Yeah. So when I spoke to her, I asked her to explain to me the circumstances of what happened. And what she said to me was that she indeed, just as she confirmed on the recording, that she was the one that actually called Patrick and asked Patrick, where are you? And Patrick said, oh, I'm driving, I'm around Canifing. And she said, oh, Doma Bala nga come pick me up and give me a ride because I want to go home and it's raining. She said, so Patrick said to her, okay, I'll come and pick you up. So she said when Patrick came to the house, Patrick was outside and Patrick was like, okay, you know what? I'm outside. Can you come out? And then she was not ready with what she was doing. She said, so because it was raining outside, so she told Patrick, can you come inside and wait for me so that I can finish up what I'm doing? She said Patrick came in, and when Patrick came in, she said it didn't take about 3 or 5 minutes. She said Patrick had a call, so Patrick left and went outside. This is my own version of what I was told by the lady that sent me the voice message, which is the person that asked Patrick to come and collect her. But from the recording that we saw, you could tell that Patrick did not even know there was not that, okay, because on a normal basis, on a normal circumstance, yeah, if Meta knew Patrick and they had that, that closeness or discussion, she would have turned the camera to Patrick to say, oh, thank you, Patrick, or thank you for whatever, you understand? But that was not done. And from the camera, even though she was thanking, what happened, when you look at the video, you would think that she's thanking somebody for the food that you see at the start of the video. But the food and the video had nothing to do with each other, because one was at a restaurant and one was taking at her shop in her house. So the message goes on that, so you can tell that somebody was thanking somebody for something. And just as ordinary people, when you look at the video and the first thing you see was like some beautiful grilled fish, we all thought that was what was being thanked. And because we saw Patrick in the background in the picture being reflected in the mirror from the image, we all assumed that she was thanking Patrick.
Okay.
But when I got the full video from the friend, the full video, the entirety of the video, you could tell that she was saying, Dereje for bringing me 3 customers, and it had nothing to do with fish or grilled fish, because in that situation there was no grilled fish in that store, because the grilled fish was actually in a restaurant. It was 2 separate videos that was edited and connected together.
Okay.
I don't know if I've explained that clearly.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mel.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. So we gonna see if we're gonna have anyway. We've been here for 2 hours 15 minutes already. So everybody's asking. They say they want to watch the video again. So is it possible to just play the video again? Is it possible to play the video again? People are asking also whether Meta recognized Patrick. Oh, of course, because Patrick was on every newspaper. Patrick was in court when this was going on. So definitely, I think the recognition was there, and she recognized Patrick and knew who Patrick was. I believe so. This is what I think, though. Okay, we're having another call.
Hi. Can you
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, this one is going to be a brief one. I'm Margaret.
Okay.
Okay, looking at actually, I saw this video on Snap. I know well, and I saw the video on Snap, but I didn't pay attention that he was in the video. Okay, to start with, that is it Aisha or whatsoever her name is. Aisha knew who Patrick is. Aisha knew Patrick is a public figure. Aisha knew that Patrick is handling this case, and Aisha knew this Mbai family. Why do Aisha has to invite Patrick all the way to that place? It was raining. Patrick was in his car. Let him sit there. You know that this is the Mbai family. Why do you have to invite inside the salon? That's my main problem. This thing looks like a setup to me, and this Aisha girl has something to do with it. That's my own point of view. And looking at the video, I saw the video, but I didn't pay attention that was Patrick. But when you play the video again, then I realized it was him. Looking at the video, Meta was taking the video deliberately, like she was doing it deliberately to show that this is Patrick, the lead counsel of whatsoever. Deliberately. So if you like connect these dots together, this Aisha has a lot to do with this whole situation, to my own point of view. Aisha has a lot to do with this, because if I thought I was in Aisha's shoe, Patrick is my friend, and I know he's a public figure, and I know that he has a situation with this main family. I will not even dare like invite him close to. Even if he comes to pick me, I won't even invite him into that salon. So she has a lot to do with that. My main problem out of this issue, my main problem is this main Aisha. Since I started watching this same Aisha has a lot to do with this whole situation. Why do you have to invite Patrick to that salon when you know that he is the lead counsel of this whole case? Why?
Okay. Now, caller, can you stay? Can you stay on the line? Can you stay on the line? There's something I want to do.
Okay.
Okay. I perfectly understand what you have said. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, but we're going to do it this way. Now, I want to ask a question.
Okay.
If my question, the way I'm doing it, I want to address Yasin Low, he keeps hammering on this question, so I hope she would get exactly what I'm doing and my point. Now, you have raised a very interesting issue and position, and that is to establish whether Aisha knew that Patrick was very instrumental and was a lead counsel in the Bob Ketter trial, which Meta's sister was part of, right? This is your premise, yeah? Okay. Now, my question that I want to ask you is, If we establish that yes, Aisha knew and Aisha and Meta agreed and it was a setup. Huh? Or we finally got to the point where we agree that no, it was not a setup. Aisha did not know. So you see, I've given you two scenarios, yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
One is Aisha knew and it was a setup. The other scenario is Aisha did not know and it was not a setup. Now, if we take both these scenarios, does it change the substantive fact that Patrick was set up and Patrick did not know whether the setup came from Meta or the setup came from Aisha or the setup came from Meta and Aisha? Does it change the circumstances and the substantive reasoning that Patrick was never aware and Patrick was a victim in this matter? Does it change it?
Actually, for me, to my own point of view, I think Patrick is a victim. That's what I think.
No.
He's not aware
No, wait. I want you to answer my question. Listen to my question.
Okay.
Does it change if we know, for example, now your position is you believe Aisha knew that Patrick was in this trial and Aisha should never have brought Patrick there. And the reason why Aisha brought Patrick there was because she wanted to set Patrick up. That's the first scenario, yeah? The second scenario, which we will take, we're going to be the devil's advocate, is the fact that, let's say Aisha did not know at all and that it was just a coincidence. The question to you, my question to you is, whether Aisha was part of the setup or Aisha was not part of the setup, does it change the position of Patrick being a victim?
No.
Thank you. Thank you.
It does not change it.
Thank you. Now, let me explain the reason why I asked you that question. It does not change it. So the reason why I asked you that question is because my program is solely to deal with Patrick Gomez being a victim where a video appeared on social media to show and portray a situation where Patrick was found in a compromising situation, but it did not happen, and that video is something that is a lie, and it was a video that was edited. That is my position. This is what this program is about. This program is not about whether Meta did it deliberately or whether Meta and Aisha colluded. So people asking me questions whether what is the relationship between Aisha and Patrick, I am saying is irrelevant because it does not change.
Irrelevant.
Very irrelevant. And anybody that's asking me that question, I will repeat again, it is a very irrelevant question because it does not change the fact that Patrick is a victim and that Patrick was either set up or not set up. But the bottom line is Patrick is a victim, and that is the focus of my program. The relationship between Patrick and Aisha, Lulu, fast and lie, rekla, busybody, it does not change nothing. What you want to know between Aisha and Patrick is busybody. It's fast and lie. It does not show you nothing. It does not change the fact that Patrick Hamut Meta. If your question, if you wanted to know the relationship between Patrick and Aisha, and if you knew that answer, then it will change the circumstance, then I will give some sort of importance. But right now, Dal, what we are talking about is Aisha, as far as I'm concerned, is a topic for another day. We will do a program where we will sit now and begin to look into Aisha. Did Aisha do a deal with Meta? Did Aisha frame part of the conspiracy to frame Patrick? That we will do for another day. But for now, what I am doing is to establish that Patrick is an innocent guy that was doing an innocent gesture to a friend, and he was caught up in a situation where they tried to tag him as something that he is not. That is the purpose of my program. I hope I'm making sense.
Okay. Exactly. You're making sense.
Thank you very much. That was all I wanted to establish. Thank you so much.
All right, Melvin. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Good night. Bye.
Good night. Good night. So it's It's 2 hours 23 minutes. We're going to at exactly 2 hours 30 minutes. I'm going to wrap this program up. It's been quite interesting. I think I'm seeing the comments, and I know now that it has been established that Patrick is innocent and that Patrick is a victim. If you go back to the topic of my discussion, I said Patrick Gomez, valiant or victim, and it has been established now by all the calls I'm having, by the comments, that indeed he's a victim. Yes, there are so many concerns that he has to be very careful. Yes, I agree he has to be careful, but I also don't believe that he has to radically change his lifestyle just because you and I, everybody else, took interest in a particular matter. Patrick is taking cases of similar nature every day of his life. He's trying murder trials. I believe as a state counsel, he's doing very, very, very delicate and complicated cases. So just because we all are interested in these trials does not mean a man has to change his lifestyle just because of us. So that is what I wanted to establish. I know people are asking me to play the video one more time. I don't know what's up with Garment. Now, you've watched this video 20 times. They still want to see the video again. So don't worry. I'll give you the honor. I'll do you the honors and I'll play the video again. So can we play the video 3 times in a row for all these busybody, my busybody audience, so that you can watch it. So basically, can we play the video 3 times over so we can satisfy and quench their thirst and appetite? We'll play the video.
Hi. I had Ken's Maharid Mama is. Hi. I had Ken's Maharid Mama is. Hi. I had Ken's Maharid Mama is.
Keller, are we taking that call? Is it a call that's coming in?
I'm sorry, Mel. It's Madeline.
Madeline, I hope you're not part of the audience that wants me to play the video 20 times. I can't be small for somebody.
No, it's just a quick one. It's just few seconds.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go on.
Yeah, those that are questioning why should Patrick get off his car and go into the salon, we all know it's just a cultural, what will I say? It's a Gambian thing. When you go, it's just obvious that you have to get and go high. That is it. My husband was listening to it and just said, I would have been done for it, because with him, when he goes to give people lifts, he will always get out of the car no matter the situation. So we just need to get that out of it, because it's just out of respect that Patrick did that.
Even me, I won't lie there. I won't tell you. Sometimes it's not out of respect. Sometimes it's just busybody to see what's going on in there, to know what's happening, what the person is doing. I will go in. I always do it. I go and want to pick somebody up. It's a hairdressing salon or something. I will go in just to show face or something, or look and see who's there, what's the crowd. Just fast and light, that kind of thing. It's so normal. And that is why when people are making it feel as if it is not normal, it's very normal. Very normal.
It's just normal. We can't hide behind certain things that we know it's someone. Now that you've gone through this, it's good that you've explained. Some of us, the Thomases, who were skeptical, very worried, now can reason and say, oh yeah, there are points here, there are questions, but we can see the answers. And it's like Patrick was just targeted the same as, what would I say, Bob or any other guy that is being targeted because they have a purpose or they have an objective against the person.
You know how I was this morning, right? I was so upset. I was like, I had to watch this video over and over again. And I was like, no, something was not adding up. Something was not adding up. Because I was looking at the fish that I saw. And then I was looking at the tablecloth, and then I looked at the mirror. And because the video was so short, I had to do it like over 30 times. Because I was trying to see, how did the fish bowl disappear, the table? How did it disappear? How did it change to cosmetics? Because all I saw was creams and bottles and stuff. So I kept looking at it again and again and again and again. And then I realized, hey, you know what? Let me go back. So I went back on my pictures to look at, Nubian, the setup and everything like that. And it's like, wait, this table was Nubian. It's actually in the Nubian restaurant. So I was like, Just like we saw that video where they were taking, you know, 1 minute we saw a syringe, next minute we saw it was full, and then it was connected together. It was just that kind of vibes that I was getting. And then I realized, no, you know what? I had to do the extra mile. I had to call people. I had to find out. I had to speak to them. What's going on? And then I realized that, you know what? This was a setup. A setup. But it tells you that these people are not stopping. They are not stopping. I don't know when they will stop. And it scares me. Maybe I'm the next person who they're going to set up. I don't even know.
That's another. That's why we just need to support each other. If you have the knowledge or the capacity in order to help victims, I think it's just all right. Don't look at who the person is. Just get in and make sure that the truth is out there. All we can say is just thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Because without this, we were gone with some other things, you know.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But I'm glad. I'm so happy that, you know, we came and we're able to showcase to the public that, you know what, as far as we're concerned, up till date, this man is a person of character. He's a man of integrity. He's a man that, you know, really, there's nothing out there that you could paint on him and put on him and say this is what he did, you know, or he has done this thing that is, you know, very compromising. Today, we all thought that, what has happened? What went wrong? But again, at the end of the day, we found out that nothing went wrong. He's still the same man, the same Patrick Gomez Staker. Yes, I'm the first person to always bash the Ministry of Justice. I'm always talking about the Ministry of Justice. But when we see things that are true, we have to say it. I think we are all people of conscience. I can't, just because I have issues with the Ministry of Justice and the way they conduct things and the way they do things, I should now begin to celebrate and begin to use that video, which I know it's not a reflection of the reality and the truth, to go against an innocent person. I can never do that, and I can never be a part of that. So that was the reason why I'm here, and I'm glad, you know, you're also here, and that we have been able to establish that indeed Patrick is a victim in this regard, and that the guy is just you know, he just found himself in a very unfortunate situation, but he has no relationship or linkage with Meta, and neither was he there on the occasion of Meta. But thank you so much. Is there any last
Good
words?
night, Mel.
Anything,
Thank you
any
very
other
much. Really
advice you
appreciate
want?
it.
Do you have any other advice for us? Any last words for us Gambians? I mean, can you imagine? I played this video like 100 times and they want to see it.
I think the advice is we just need to support each other. When it's wrong, it's wrong. When it's right, it's right, irrespective of who. Because the next target, you just don't know. Who would have thought Patrick would be the next target? Nobody knows. You know.
Yeah.
I might be the next target.
Yes, and the other thing we need to establish, we also need to, I need to say this, is that Patrick is not the lead counsel in the Sena Mumbai trial for manslaughter. Patrick has nothing to do with that trial. The only reason why Patrick would have been in a compromising situation is the fact that he's a senior state counsel working at the Ministry of Justice, and this girl's sister is being tried for manslaughter. But he is not the lead counsel in that matter, and nor does he have anything to do with that matter as it stands. The matter is being prosecuted by a completely different set of lawyers.
All right. Okay, that's clear now.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night, Mel.
Thank you. Good night. Good night.
Bye.
So I think really I'll draw this 2.5 hours. I think is good enough. Before you people start asking me to play the video again. So probably what I will do as a means of last resort is to play the video. Then we will play the audio of the lady who actually asked Patrick to give her a ride, and then I will tell you the poll results. We were conducting a poll. So far, I'll tell you what the poll is. We were asking, is Patrick a villain or Patrick a victim? And of course, the results show that over 40% of the audience believe that Patrick is indeed a victim in this regard, and it's only 20% that thought he was a villain. But I don't think they even understand what villain means anyways, but that's all right. It's a topic for another day. We are happy that the truth has been established. We have unmasked the truth, and we move on to something else for another day and time. But lastly, we will play the video for you one last time. One last time. Shout out to Auntie Mami, Mary Carvalho. Thank you so much. She was giving me a hard time, but it's always nice to have her on board and everyone else that's here. So thank you very much again. We're going to play the video one last time, and then we'll play the voice message of the lady that sent the voice message. So we all establish that indeed Patrick is a victim in this regard, and that Patrick does not know Meta. Patrick never went there. Patrick never took a meal. Patrick was just there to pick up somebody, and that the video that you see out there on social media is not a true reflection of what actually transpired, and that it was a doctored video. It was edited, joined together, put together to portray and showcase a particular scenario that did not happen, and to get the public to actually think in a particular direction, which ordinarily, if they know the truth, they wouldn't think so. So thank you very much for joining me, and I wish you all a pleasant evening and a very good night. So here we go.
Hi. I had Ken's Maharid Mama is. Hi. I had Ken's Maharid Mama is.
Hi Melvin, I just got your message and I want to make this clear. Patrick does not know Metambai. I called Patrick asking him for a ride. So because it was raining. The time Patrick come, it was raining, I asked him to come in. So the time he came, Patrick don't even spend 5 minutes in the shop. Patrick don't even spoke to Meta. Patrick don't know Meta. Patrick don't even know that's the Mbai's compound. That's all what happened. Patrick don't know Meta and he don't talk to Meta. He don't even spoke to her. Hi Melvin, I just got your message and I want to make this clear. Patrick does not know Metambai. I called Patrick asking him for a ride. So because it was raining. The time Patrick come, it was raining, I asked him to come in. So the time he came, Patrick don't even spend 5 minutes in the shop. Patrick don't even spoke to Meta. Patrick don't know Meta. Patrick don't even know that's the Mbai's compound. That's all what happened. Patrick don't know Meta and he don't talk to Meta. He don't even spoke to her.
Gambia with Tamala, the fi Amamut Fenen. Sama mam that I'm one Jamareka war. When you're Papolo, don't bena, can do your moon dara. Reume soon you reula, and yepa and the joke. Jama sasa sunyu reu sapante te japante moi sunyu ware burialenyo gelenyare nasama sunyu digante nyepna mangu te dono ben lolu la fe mami by you born nyepna mangu te dono ben gijamu Gambia Jotali makas bilel tanghal masindal biwai bonyi be nga nuyul masa papa wai oyal ma aji wako mata nena awane ñu magal tobaski ji wai genaaw elek noel su passé ba ñu tek ci ñaari semaine sang marila tam lolu lañ fi xam ben baat lolu lañu am juróom ñaari nit ci ben bool lolu lañu xam arjodo ga tambi nang nuyul masa papa ankira jam bulma jam jama lañ fi am amut hette amut diine lolu lañ fi bàyyi woon dama ne lolu lañ fi bàyyi woon